How you doing? It's Davy Burke and Enda Varley back here again to have a quick look back on last weekend's Tailteann Cup activity. We're going to have a quick look at Cavan and Sligo, then we're going to move on to Westmeath and Offaly. Then we're going to have a preview of this weekend's quarterfinals. So first up, Enda, in general on the Tailteann Cup, I think it's been a hugely successful competition to date. We're getting competitive games, and ultimately I think is that not the aim of the game for us all, like, really?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, Davy. I thoroughly enjoyed the two games. Now I know, look at Kevin McStay was on earlier on the week, wanted a third tier. I just, personally, I think, it diluted too much. I think the hurling, there's four tiers to the hurling. I just think it just kind of dilutes it a small bit too much. And I don't think the standard of football is higher in hurling than hurling in the bottom 16 counties, we'll say. So I thoroughly enjoyed the games. I thought it was a huge success. I thought, even looking at the likes of Pat Hughes there, that was his last game for Sligo. He's retiring after that game, and it was just nice to see him go out in Cork. You want to be playing in that's your dream growing up as a young lad, to get to play in Cork on the big days. And I was, as you said, two really competitive games. There's nothing worse than seeing, 15, 16 point hammering that we've seen the last few years, and it's pure shite. Like.
And how often have Sligo, I don't know the answer to this, but how often have Sligo played in Croker? Wouldn't you love to know how many times Pat Hughes played Sligo, wouldn't you? Or sorry, played Croker, you'd love to know. So there's, for that alone, that man, huge servant. How many more of that man in the country is there? There's a rake of him, And he got to bow out at a semi-final of an All-Ireland stage. So for me, I think we've got the two best teams in the final. I think Cavan and Westmeath, it wasn't hard to tip Cavan and Westmeath, weeks ago, that they probably were, depending on attitudes, depending on team setups, how seriously they took the competition. But that'll be a cracker now for me. I think that will be a cracking game.
Yeah, as you say, it's something tangible for them two teams. They're probably Cavan and Westmeath are probably, they're probably in the top 12, 13 teams in the country. Do you know what I mean? They're just that standard above the Tailteann Cup, in my opinion. And as you said, the two of them came to the top in the end. But I'd fancy looking at the games. I thought Westmeath were very impressive, and they just had that, scoring power and the likes of John Heslin maybe to get them over the line. I thought they moved the ball quite well. The big difference I feel from, we say, Sam Maguire and Tailteann Cup is just the physical contact, the hands-on. They just, even there was who was it? Was it one of the Westmeath lads just came right up the middle, and just there was no contact. You know what I mean? The physicality is just a small bit off, I feel, with the Tailteann Cup. But again, it's something tangible for them players coming into next year. Whoever wins that, or even the two teams in the final, you're building on that momentum and that feel good factor, and it's so important to develop that for those so-called weaker counties. I don't like calling them weaker counties, but it's great to see.
And they've got, I was Tailteann Cup. I think it's a very positive move. No one wants to be on the end of drubbins, as we just spoke about. So, competitive games, etc. And they have marketed, in fairness, given them last Sunday. I'd be listening to a lot of stuff, and the hurling purists now are going mental. Shane and the boys there aren't too happy with the Tailteann Cup getting a full Sunday and the hurling quarterfinals being pushed to a Saturday. But for football men, I think it's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. And fair play. And also, I'm led to believe there's about 50 or 60 grand there for the winning team for their team holiday contribution. A hugely important carrot. So in fairness to we're all very quick to slate them over A, B, and C. Credit where credit's due. They've made this competition. It's got off the ground. I didn't think it would this year. It's really got off the ground. You have the two best teams in the final. It's a big carrot now to play for an All-Ireland final in Croke Park, and a huge incentive as regards holidays and guaranteed Sam Maguire next year. So look, job done for year one.
That's 10 years of no competition, though, Davy. Do you know what I mean? People are crying out for just competition. They want to see, the neutral wants to see a competitive game. Do you know what I mean? And it was just, the last 10 years, there's been so many Drummonds in the likes of Leinster, in the likes of Munster, Connacht and Ulster, not as much, but even in Connacht, the likes of Leitrim's do get a good hiding from time to time. It's just, people don't want to see that, and competition. And it's just, what's your opinion? Would you go to a third tier in the football?
No,
No,
absolutely.
I don't.
Who, again, I manage in Division 4, I manage in Division 3,
Yeah,
I tell you one thing, any day of the week, you need to be ready, whether you're Waterford, Wicklow, Wexford, or
yeah,
Carlow, or Cavan, or whoever you need to be ready. Any one of them
yeah.
teams will do it on any given day if you turn up wrong.
100%.
So for me, that's who would you put in tier 3? Be some crack trying to decide that, wouldn't it? I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Just don't
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. Don't think it's necessary. There's nobody in tier 2, with the exception maybe of Cavan on their best day. And
Yeah,
I don't think Cavan are going to be there for too much longer. With the
yeah,
exception of them on their best day, I don't think there's anybody that far clear of anyone else on any given day, to be honest with
yeah.
you.
So would you fancy Cavan so for the final? You would?
I would, but Westmeath are a good side. But I'd be just. I think Cavan got a better test. I thought Offaly were poor. They're very young. They suffered a lot of injuries. That half their under-20s team, their successful under-20s team out, which could be good for Offaly
Yeah,
down the road now. Could be good for Offaly in the
yeah,
future. But yeah, I think Cavan have the better players and a more rounded team, a more experienced team than that Westmeath team, and probably have more different assets to their bow, like more different strings to their bow. I think Cavan will have too much, but again, there's not a huge amount between either. You're probably right. They're both definitely in the top. Should be in Division 2. They're both definitely Division 2 teams if
yeah.
they're right, and but they're
Let,
operating in Division 3, so it's a
so
big one.
someone's pulling the piss here on you, Davy. Last week you said you still think Clare are a team waiting to be beaten. Thanks, Stock.
We'll get to Clare in a minute. Doc.
Fuck.
Right. So you know what we'll do? We'll skip the order for Doc. So right, I think we'll go to Derry and Clare for the crack. Right. I'm gonna, and I'm not saying this for anyone else's benefit. I think Clare are gonna give this a serious rattle the weekend. I think they're gonna
Oh, you're
shock
changing
this.
your tune. You're changing
No,
your tune
no,
from
yeah,
last week.
yeah, absolutely. I thought where that comment came from was, I thought Meath and Clare both looked like two teams that were at the end of the road. I have to say, 2 weeks ago, or whenever that was, right? And in fairness to Clare, what a comeback against Roscommon. It was a bit of that Roscommon's failure to win in Croke Park of 42 years. Was there a bit of all that coming into a play? And you
Fucking
know,
Clare's the same way though.
yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. No, Clare beat Kildare in Croke Park in the last 7-8 years for definite Division 2 league final. Definitely.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Correct,
Yeah.
command. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I
right.
know
Sorry.
that because I'm a hurting Kildare fan, so that's how I know that.
Yeah,
But so long story short, I think this is, and I'm going to get on to this about Armagh in a while. I think the Ulster champ. I'm watching Leinster football all the time, and we see these one-sided games, right? And we all think it's brutal stuff because it is brutal stuff, right? That's fine. And then we all see the Connacht Championship in the Hyde and in Galway and they look like competitive games because they are competitive games. And flip that to Ulster. Ulster looks unreal. Clowness, Ballyboffey, the athletic grounds. It looks
sometimes,
unreal.
sometimes.
And yeah, but I think it is an unreal competition for the competitive nature of it. But I question the standard of the Ulster Championship. And that's why I'm saying the two best teams in Ulster are Armagh and Derry, right? In whatever order you want. Obviously, Derry have the trophy. And I just question, I could have big egg on my face because they both could win by 10 points. That kind of, and if they do, they do. But I think the form of the Ulster Championship is going to take a knock this weekend. I just don't think it's as strong as we all give it credit for. Armagh came through, and I just think Derry, they haven't. I'm just not sure who they've beaten this year. I know they're the All-Ireland champions of Tyrone. I know who Monaghan are. I know all that. But I just don't know where they are this year as regards their standard of operation. So for me, I think Clare in their running game, they'll mirror this Derry team. Croke Park is very hard to park the bus. Let's be honest. Very, very difficult to play that game in Croke Park. Kildare played it against Mayo 2 weeks ago. Played it brilliantly well for 50 minutes and collapsed. Legs were gone. Just didn't have the bodies or didn't use the bodies across the middle when I felt they needed legs to see the game out when 5 or 6 up. So have Clare the depth, have Derry the depth. Derry's used the same players all year, Enda. That kind of way. I just wonder. What do you see in that
No,
game?
look. I tend to agree with you in relation to Derry and Clare game. I don't think it's going to be a hammering no win. I don't think Derry will. I think Derry will get over the line, but I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think maybe a 4 or 5 point game. I don't think it'd be interesting to see what kind of style of football Derry play in Croker. If it's the same style in Ulster, I think they'll get over Clare, but I think they lose in the semi-final. Croke Park is not a running pitch. You have to have somewhat of a balance to it. So that's, and also I think they've got their All-Ireland this year in terms of the Ulster. I know Rory Gallagher will be trying to drill it into them that we're not finished yet, but unless they change, this is kind of year one off the development, if you know what I mean. Like next year, Rory obviously be hopefully there next year again, and they'll continue on and hopefully up it again. But I just can't see, unless they change the style of play, I can see them beating Clare by 4 or 5 points. But going to be serious All Ireland contenders, I just can't see it yet. Unless look at, they can prove me wrong now this Saturday night, but it'd be interesting to see.
Have Dublin not proven that system doesn't work anymore in Croke Park? Again, like it worked against Mayo for Kildare, 15 blanket back, and it worked for 55 minutes, right? I don't think, and Mayo looked clueless now, right? They looked out, whereas that was fun. Dublin spread the pitch to get McCarthy through the middle, to get Merchant running out, and they just keep width, they keep depth, and they won't take it into contact, and they'll just frustrate the life out of you, and they'll wait for a defender to switch off, and O'Callaghan will go back door, and you're wide open, that kind of way. I think they've proven it doesn't work. And for me, Gallagher has got some amount of praise all year. He's a class coach, right? For me, I'm very interested in seeing how Rory goes at this, because he is a good coach, right? He is very innovative. He knows as well as you and me know 15 behind the ball doesn't work in Croke Park for 75 minutes, and it might work against Clare. It might work for 75. It will not work against Kerry or Dublin for 75 minutes. It just won't work. No. And even Armagh probably won't work against Galway or Armagh, I don't think. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what have Derry done in the 4 weeks. How have they tweaked this system? Or have they tweaked the system? And Rory's a smart man, so he will have tweaked it. He definitely will have tweaked this system. And the last part for me on this end is, have Derry won their All-Ireland? Have they got their medal? And where's the appetite now? What does Rory have now to hit them with? Because you can guarantee it was Tyrone. Then it was Monaghan, into Donegal. Or Donegal? Yeah. So you know what I mean? That's what I think. Have they the hunger? Have they the appetite? We won't know till the weekend,
So what are you saying now? How are you calling that game? So
I think it'll be tight. I think it's going to be a very intriguing game. I don't see it as the one-sided affair that a lot of people see it at all.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a soft touch. I think Derry need to be very careful, but they probably will have the conditioning levels, I'd say, to see it out. But I'm going to say Derry by 3 points.
Yeah. I'd probably say maybe 4 or 5, but I don't think it's going to be a massively high-scoring game here. I think it's going to be tight and cagey. If the same style that Derry play, that style doesn't put up a big score in Croker. And as you said, even the Kildare lads against Mayo, 55 minutes, and you run out of gas. If you're running up and down that pitch for fucking 55 minutes, you are going to be gassed. And as you said, the fresh legs can come, and Mayo just pulled away. Well, I'm not going to say pulled away, but got ahead in the end. But it'll be interesting. Well, what game's next?
So we'll go back to that's for Doc anyway, right? We'll go back to Mayo and Kerry first, or Kerry Mayo, whatever way. I'll give you you belt away here. Tell us the plan here from inside the camp, will you?
Inside the camp, yeah. I think I'm really looking forward to be honest with you. I think we're coming in a good position in terms of psychologically. I think we're in a vulnerable place against Kildare, and that showed. I think everyone's writing Mayo off. I think are we 3-1 outsiders to beat Kerry? As you said before, beating a team 3 times in a year. I know they beat us in the league, the round of the league, and then they beat us obviously in the league final, and now they're meeting us again. There's obviously question marks with Clifford. If Clifford is their biggest strength and their biggest weakness, because they rely so heavily on him, and he's a talisman. And if you negate him, I just think if you can negate that primary ball going into Clifford and stop their kicking game in Croker, and if you stop that primary ball going in first time, and you can stop that and let Kerry try and build it around from there, and Mayo get min back, I just don't think Kerry have the kind of nuances, if you want to call it, to break down that kind of defence. Kerry are a pure kicking team, and Jack O'Connor isn't afraid to say it in his interviews after games. Against Cork, I thought Cork gave Mayo a very good blueprint to put it up to Kerry. And Cork were right with them. Go on, yeah.
Just couldn't see it out.
No, yeah, sorry. So after, yeah, exactly. So David Moore came on, and they Jim McGuinness said in the Sky, and I couldn't agree with more of them. They basically put pressure on they squeezed the kick out, the Cork kick out, and they got primary position off that Cork kick out. It wasn't from building from the back. It wasn't quick transition play. It was from their kick out. So Mayo can retain their kick out. Robbie can retain his kick out. Well, then it'll be interesting. Kerry are not. They've shown in the past, the last 8 years, they are no world beaters. They haven't shown the evidence to suggest they've won league titles before in the last 8 years. I think they've won 3 in the last, 3. They've definitely won 3 league titles in 8 years. I know that, and they haven't gone on in the summer to claim Sam. Now look I'm not saying Mayo are definitely going to win here, but I think it's going to be a very, very close game. It's not going to be a blowout, no way. And I think honestly, if it's there for the take in the last 5 minutes, and Mayo are right with them there, I think they'll beat them.
Oh, right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Mayo have been written off, and you boys love that crack. So that's a very, very dangerous place to be. Now you've stumbled through, speaking to people who Castlebar against Monaghan, supposedly was very poor. I was in Croke Park last week myself. It was very poor. Kerry now, the way they're setting up, protecting the D with the working wing forwards, will cause Mayo problems, because they will get.
Yeah, but they're not. They don't have sweepers back at Mayo. And the other thing, Jamie, I don't want to cut across you here. They're playing northern teams, and they've historically found it hard to break down northern teams because of the blank defence. If Mayo defenders can get the Kerry forwards going the other way and running after them, because they will have to run after them, the six Mayo lads just will go forward, and they. Hold on, sorry. I don't know about that. Sorry, there's a comment there, but I think if they can get them going the other way, and I think if we can protect our own kick out and obviously squeeze the Kerry kick out, that Kerry goalie, I put, he's not a Cluxton. I wouldn't put him in the same bracket as that, so you can squeeze him. But sorry, I'm putting a question there.
No. So I will Mayo, will they have? Yeah, so they won't play sweepers. Kerry are playing a transition defence, right? Which I believe is the right way to go at it these days. You transition with the ball, so you end up with 10, 12 bodies around the D. Purely if you get enough pressure on the supply, or get enough pressure on the heat on the ball, that gives your opposite side of the field, or whoever, an opportunity to drop into the D. So you're not playing an out-and-out sweeper. You're transitioning with the play. Yeah, essentially, that's what Kerry are doing. Right? And that's why when you see all these screen grabs, geez, look at Kerry, they've 12 men around the D. The reason they've 12 men around the D is because of the likes of Stephen O'Brien, Dara Moynihan and these boys, and Enright, or Spillane, sorry, wing forward Spillane, is it Enright or Spillane? Spillane.
Adrian Spillane.
They're doing their job, and their job is slow the ball up to allow somebody else, Brian Begley and Tyke Morley and whoever else they have doing their job, right? So long story short, I just would be interested to see how Mayo go with that. But one thing I will say is, don't underestimate now Gavin White's running power and Stephen O'Brien's running power. Now you're talking Gavin White is he's the closest team pace wise to Jack McCaffrey that I think we've seen in the GA. And he is lethal now, like lethally down. Again, he's no kicking threat, but Kerry have plenty of other kicking threats. But when Gavin goes, there's not many lads getting him now. There's not too many lads getting a grip of him. So probably similar to McLaughlin, but I don't think McLaughlin has the same raw pace that White has. So I think Kerry have a mixture of running game. I do think White and the likes of O'Brien and O'Connor is a monster in midfield. Dermot O'Connor is a monster. The Kerry is a monster. So I think this is hugely intriguing. I think it's going to be a brilliant battle. If Clifford is out, Mayo have no excuse here. If Clifford doesn't play, Mayo have no excuse here, because at the end of the day, the league final, whatever was going on, it was a one-man show practically. He put a horror to the sword. He destroyed you on his own. And if he's out, so just to pull you up on one point, or question you on one point, you're saying to stop the supply into Clifford is the way to go about this, yeah? So
go Go on,
How
yeah.
do you do that? So question for you is, are you talking about, do you flood the mid, don't play a +1 and flood the middle 8? As in, so flood the mid, like 65 to 65 or 45, whatever way you want to do it, right? And get extra bodies there, leave O'Connor and Carney up top, or leave O'Donoghue, whoever's going to play for you up top, right? And flood everyone else into the middle to delay that kick pass, or to force that kick pass left and right a small bit, right? To get extra bodies back in behind Clifford, behind Keegan or Mullen or whoever picks them up, right? Or are you talking about playing a +1 or a +2? What are you saying there?
I'm saying look at it. Mayo play this way all the time with Horn. They're going to flood the middle third, and all I'm saying is they have to, as in, to stop that kick pass on six. Whoever six is or midfielder has to be in that channel. Has to be aware that is Kerry's number one. So actually, that's Kerry's number one option. So if they can, if I'm looking up with the ball, if I'm Jim O'Connor looking up, or O'Connor or Dave Moore, whoever it is looking up the ball and looking at Clifford or the inside ball on, like if a Mayo man has to be in that channel to make him think twice, right? That ball's not on. I'm gonna have to move it around. And if the Mayo can force that and delay it by even a few seconds, and then as you said, the transition defence, you're getting more bodies back, and that's key. As in Mayo, like as you said, Mayo's forwards, Horn's mantra is you tackle like fuck. All right, you are not, if your man is going up the field, or if you're like, you have to get hands on, or he'll let you know about it. So that, as you said, it's just a natural kind of progression with the game that the forwards get sucked back, and it's just the way the game is. They flood the middle third by not by chance, but they come with the ball basically. So but instead of Horn wants to squeeze up, as in man on man, someone has to be aware. If you're not involved in the play, the midfielder or six has to, if you, like, I don't care how good you can be. You look at it. Look, I've been looking at this with Mayo. We've had some of the best defenders all time. You will not get away with 75 minutes in Croker and not, that one ball into a good corner forward. If that ball is on, if you're getting, prime possession in the half forward line, and that half forward is turning into the full forward line, and that 30-yard ball is on, I don't give a shit how good you are. You're not marking me. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, and Mayo have played that way, and it's been our Achilles heel for the last 10 years, not getting that +1 back at key times. Murphy would say in 2012, geez, I'm going back to the history books here now. My God, I'll have nightmares. But you can see when that camera angle, that ball goes in from Murphy. Murphy's on an island. There's literally no one. When Murphy catches the ball, he's on an island. Shite. Can't hear you, Davy. Hello?
Can you?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Dave. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, go on. It was mute for some reason. Sorry.
Yeah. So Cafferty was marking them that day, wasn't it?
It was Kevin Keane. Kevin Keane marked him that day.
Oh, Kevin Keane.
But in fair, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but,
sorry, yeah. But
yeah, what I'm going to say is, though, the speed of the transition from Donegal was ridiculous now. Like, the speed of the ball, and they got it to Lacey at the right side of midfield, and the kick pass. Very difficult, I tell you, Enda, to transition a +1 with the pace of that transition. You know, that kind of way.
I'll counter that argument, Davy, as in, if Murphy's inside for the first 20 minutes of the game, what do you think is going to happen here? So you have a sweeper for that 20 minutes. It's not transition defense. You read the bloody, Murphy's their best player, still is one of their best players 10 years ago. If Murphy's inside, they're going route one, they're going direct. So, like, I don't give a shit what, it was naive by us to go at that. But anyway, shit. We're going back into history here now. But anyway,
and one last question for you then. Who will pick? They won't leave Stephen Cohn at 6 to pick up Shawnee O'Shea, or will they?
Look at the talk in Mayo is, will Stephen Cohn start? Will Aidan O'Shea start? That's the big thing, because Jordan Flynn came back in the last day, and Pádraig O'Hora came in for Stephen Cohn the last day. So, they're the kind of, could they move Ado to centre forward or full forward? Because obviously, people are giving out. The Mayo forward line didn't offer too much the last day. He could shove Ado in one of them central positions, because Jordan Flynn is back with Matthew Ran. So Stephen
Cohn will definitely start, Enda. Definitely start.
yeah, but it's just
He loves him. He
James.
loves him.
Well, but fucking, he's made him captain, didn't he? So it
He
could be
loves him.
that. But like,
One
it's
thing about
matchups.
Stephen, though. One thing about
Go on,
Stephen, right? He's captained every team. UCD Sigerson, Mayo Seniors, Mayo Minors,
yeah.
Mayo Under-20s. So clearly, right, a lot of people will tear him down and say, oh, he's not the best marker. And, but he clearly is a serious leader and a serious footballer. He can't have captained all them teams and not have serious ability,
Yeah, but it's a different story when you're playing in a Horn style team. So
yeah.
So it's a different role he's playing now. So it's, if he's, Stephen wouldn't be his pace would come into question. That's one of his so-called weaknesses. I don't want to say weaknesses, but that's what they say.
Yeah.
And you're talking, Stephen is an intelligent footballer. He can read the play, dropping back into cutting out that prime possession. But Horn, if he wants him pushed up all the time, so that's a completely different role that he'd be usually used to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So look, it's obviously subjective here. Different managers can decide your career, or if they don't fancy, or if their philosophy is different, well, you're going to struggle, and Stephen is struggling at the minute. So maybe look at wing back might suit him a bit better. The matchup, a wing back on Adrian Saplan might suit him a bit better. He's more of a worker. He's not a big score getter, and that matchup could suit Stephen a bit better on Sunday. Unless,
what they might do, though, they might put Paddy Clifford wing forward, and then Stephen's in trouble. That kind of way, because if they're going to go Gainey, Brosnan, or Spillane and Clifford, if they go Paddy, because Paddy's going to play. Paddy's going to play, Shawnee's going to play, and then Stephen O'Brien looks fairly locked into 10. Then it's a bad matchup all of a sudden for Stephen Cone.
Then your balance is off, as you made the point with Kildare. So your balance is completely off. So Jack is playing. I'm not going to say a traditional way, but the way that probably suits Kerry. He's 4 forwards up all the time. Paddy Clifford is their link man in the half forward line to full forward line. His understanding with David is obviously from obviously being brothers. That back door. He's always looking for David on the back door cut for goal chances. And you have 4 midfielders. Then across the middle, your 2 wing forwards. Adrian Span is a midfielder by trade, and then you have obviously it could be Dave Moore could come into it now the next day. He might leave David Moore off now to the last 20 minutes to give him that extra bit and come into the last 20 minutes. So, as you said, I think they're set up. They know their roles a lot better than they did last year. And he's fitting their players. They're fitting their roles in terms of what the best he can get out of them players are playing those roles, basically.
Yeah, I see Clifford starting 15, Paddy, or 13. I don't see him. I don't see that wing form. I was just throwing that at you. If they do, that's a bad matchup for Cone. But we'll call it here. How do you see it going?
Sorry, no. On this here. How do I see it going? I'm gonna put my neck and my head on the line here, and I'm gonna say Mayo by 2.
These are mad, aren't you?
I think Dublin will probably beat us in the semi then.
I'm going to ground you a little bit. I think Kerry could win by 5 points. I think, and to be honest, that's with or without David Clifford. I think they'll win the game. I think
Horn has never lost. Horn has never lost in a quarterfinal. In his 8 years, he's always got to a semi.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see. We'll be talking Sunday evening, I'm sure. Armagh, Galway. My quick thoughts on this is, I gave you an insight earlier. I'm not sure where the form of the Ulster Championship is at. As I said, I'm open to correction here, and we all know Sunday evening. But I think Galway have a right chance in this now. A real good chance in this. Everybody is tipping Armagh. The whole country's talking about Armagh. Armagh has some huge positives. The buzz, the energy, the big orange crowd. There seems to be an amazing goodwill towards them, amazing support. They're going to bring half the county down. It seems to be unreal, and it must be magic. What night of the week? Wednesday. Probably training for maybe tonight and Friday or something, right? It must be a magic place to be with the buzz. I'd say it's class, right? I'd say it's unreal, right? So That's that. All that are benefits. But I think this Galway team's a good side. I think they've a good side. They do have defensive frailties. They do have defensive issues. And teams are scoring against them. Roscommon 2-16. Mayo scored 16 in the first round. So teams are scoring against this Galway team. But I think up front they're lethally dangerous. And I'm not sure Armagh, with the likes of Falker, James Morgan, I'm not sure they're brilliantly man markers. They're good, they're physical. I just don't know if they're top end man markers. And I think Galway are going to cause them a lot of problems.
I'm going to disagree with you. Are
That's
you
what we're
going
here
to
to
go?
do.
Yeah, are you going to Galway? So yeah, are you going Galway?
I am.
I have absolutely no faith in this Galway team whatsoever. Maybe it's just the fact that I hate Galway.
Yeah. Surprise from a Mayo man.
Yeah. I think I think against Roscommon they played Pearse Stadium very well. They got a lot of joy out of the Galway long kick out basically, and they picked up a lot of quick transition ball from there. Now look, they do have men to break the line from the back, but again, Armagh. I'm going to say Croker is a kick and pitch, and they're showing all the signs of all the form going into this. Now I know, look at like Galway better Roscommon team, and they better a Mayo team. Mayo were in rag order at that stage of the season. They could be still in rag order, but we'll see. But against Roscommon, I look. Don't get me wrong here. I don't think Armagh are going to blow them away. I think Armagh. Personally, I think it'll be a 4 or 5 point win for Armagh. I think I just don't have much faith. Take the 3 or 4 boys in the Galway team. If you nullify them boys, I think they're in serious bother. I think Armagh have a more of a spread in their scores. They have second tough midfielders that love to hit, and they're bloody. They have a good balance between the running game and the kicking game. And I think that's what you need in Croker. And I think the support, like they're not about turning Croker orange. I think it's going to be, it's just great to see another team. Armagh haven't been bloody competitive in 15 years or 10 or 12, 15 years anyway. And it's just, again, competition. It's great for bloody everyone watching this. The GAA. I'm going to tip them to get to the final, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, the winner of this will get to the final. I think the winner of this will get to the final.
Yeah, Jesus, Galway, if they won that, my God.
But you have to remember now, Galway are an arrogant sort of team, as you know, right? They have this arrogance, right? And they're well able to play football now. They can kick. I know everyone's saying Armagh have a lovely kicking game, and they do. Jesus, this Galway team can kick the ball. They can kick the ball. They can run the ball. In Comer, Walsh, Conroy, Armagh have a tough midfield, but they don't have anyone with the class of Conroy. Now, when Reen plays there,
Conroy he doesn't have the gas for Corker though. If you put someone with jets on or some athletically, Conroy is gassed by 55, 60 minutes. Now he'll kick scores.
Did he not kick 5 and play in the league final? 4 or 5?
He did. He 5. It was 5 points. Yeah. But I think these Armagh lads are more athletic than the Roscommon midfielders.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah, no, that'd be fair enough. Yeah, I think the matchups are interesting. Do Armagh have a man for Shane Walsh? I don't know if they do. Falker maybe, or Morgan. One of them. Now, if they play him centre forward, I don't see them pulling one of them boys out of there. Do they go with? I think they went with Jason Duffy earlier on in the league. Who do they go with to spoil him out the field? He's in the top 3 footballers. Clifford and Shane Walsh is probably next. Really, in my opinion, anyway, very close to it. Very close.
I would. On paper, I would agree with you, but I think look at this. The quarterfinal. This where the latter stages is where you talk about the best players shining on the biggest days. So yes, on paper, I would agree with you. Shane Walsh should be in the top 3, 4 footballers in the country. But I suppose Galway haven't got to the semi-finals or finals, definitely not finals. They've got to one semi-final in the last 15 years. Now they've been getting to quarters maybe, but they haven't got to the latter stages. And yes, on Sunday now it'll be a big day for himself and Comer. But again, as I said to you, if Conroy, Comer, and Jane doesn't have a good day for Galway the next day, like, are you confident to say if they have a 5/10 game, 5/10 game, Davy? Are you confident to say Galway are still going to win that game?
No, but I can throw it back at you and say, if Rian O'Neill is a 5/10 game, are you confident Armagh? Come on, like you're asking me to say 3 boys have a 5/10 game, right? There's no chance of all 3 of them boys having a 5/10 game. Whereas Armagh, you're right though, have the better balance, the better spread. You know, they have a better spread probably. But I think between Killian McDade, Dylan McHugh, Bob Finnerty, I think that Patrick Kelly, I think there's more to come in this Galway team. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. If Cian O'Connor wasn't in the set, Cian O'Neill wasn't involved in the setup, I would not be tipping him. I think Cian O'Neill is going to do serious damage to Ethan Rafferty's kick out. He's a really good coach, really good, clued in, top level coach who knows how to set up a team in Croker, who, very experienced. I can see him being a huge asset to Galway in this scenario, But look, let's see. So what are Armagh going to win by?
I'm going to say 3 to 4 points.
And I'll go Galway by the same. Galway by 3 points. That's what I'll say.
We haven't disagreed yet. We haven't agreed yet on the results.
I think both think Derry will win.
Yeah, Derry's going to win. Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, but we think they will. Kerry, there's a few comments here. Horn should have brought back the Mort this year. I think that's obviously a piss take. Kerry by 24 points. I hope not. Kerry by 2-3 points, and they will beat Dublin with relative ease in the semi-final. Well, I think that's a piss take. GA media are like sheep. They always agree with the status quo opinions and lazy predictions. They don't fundamentally break down teams' weaknesses or strengths.
That's aimed at you, Enda, is it?
I don't know. Is it? Rommel. No, they're on about. I'd say they're on about RTE here, not this top class analysis here.
Yeah. Right, Dublin and Cork, the big one to last. Hard to build much of an appetite here, is it? Cork, the last day against Limerick, looked extremely ordinary in my book. Extremely ordinary. Now they failed to. They were trying to defend in numbers. They were trying to put a press on. They were trying to do a lot of different things. They were half-assed at everything. Honestly, I thought they were. I was only watching the telly now, so I could only see as much as the next fella. But they were. It didn't look like a cohesive unit. It didn't look like the effort or the energy was there, or the application or the attitude, and any other word you want to use for it. I thought Cork were not good against Limerick whatsoever, and they're another team. I have no problem saying it. Look, want the end of the year. They want this year to be over, in my opinion. So this could be a long day.
I think, I think they'll park the bus, to be honest, Davy. I think they'll try and contain Dublin, purely not destroying what they've built up this year. If they get a good height in Croker, 20-25 points, I think it undoes an awful lot of good work that new management team have instilled this year. I think they'll employ probably 2 sweepers. Or I know Dublin are the best team in the country for breaking that down. And they will break it down, but obviously they can't go out with a mantra like Kildare and go man to man and press all over the pitch. Dublin just destroy it that way as well, and they destroy a lot quicker that way, like they did against Kildare. So I think, look, I still think it's going to be a 10 point win for Dublin, 10 to 12 point win for Dublin. I think Cork will contain them to the best they can till 50-55 minutes, and then Dublin will sprinkle on the last few extra scores to make it to that 12-point difference in the end. I can't see, and then Cork will hopefully build for next year, and the GA need Cork to be competitive in the football and hurling, but especially in the football, because they've been in the doldrums the last 10 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as optimistic for Cork. Yes, they'll park the bus, absolutely. I think Dublin will make short change of that. I think, yes, they'll be patient. Yes, they'll keep the ball. But I could see them going in at halftime 6 or 7 points up. I don't see it being that close on 50 minutes. I don't see I don't see Cork doing as well as they did against Kerry against Dublin. I don't see it. Just don't see it.
Cork will win is a tighter pitch too.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I do not see it being as tight as that. I think you can have 14, 15 men behind the ball, but are they going to put Brian Hurley, Stephen Sherlock, and Colin O'Mahony behind the ball? Like, you know, they don't want to be behind the ball. Like, so if you're going to do it, you may as well leave them boys off and bring them on with 20 to go. If that's your attitude at it, like what, you know. So I don't see, you know, that
I think,
you know, that well.
I think,
to be honest.
I think, David, they'll still leave 3 lads up. Do you know what I mean? Or they'll definitely leave 2 lads up. You know, I don't think they'll bring 15 men behind the 45. I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll definitely leave Hurley up. They'll leave Sherlock up, and you know, as you said, everyone will just kind of naturally transition back during the game. Hold on, there's a few comments here. Will Galway let Silk and Malloy attack lads? Such bitterness for Galway, two twos. An easy win for Dublin will do no favours for the semi-final. Kerry versus Mayo will be a good hard fight. RTE are shambles. They wanted it more is the classic bailout quote.
So I just think they leave 1 or 2 up top, but Dublin, I just can't see them causing Dublin any problems. Powder will transition out. O'Halloran will transition out. They have a couple of lads with legs there, and but I just honestly don't see Cork having enough threats. I don't see them having enough just threats to hurt this Dublin team, you know.
So we're agreeing on the majority. We're just not agreeing on the difference in the score in the end. I'd say you're going from 50. I'd say you're going to 15 to 20 point difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the spread at 12 points any day of the week. No, any day of the week, I'll be taking that spread.
Is that the spread? That's the spread.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be taking that. So, and then you obviously, so you'll go under, I'll go over, right? We go with that.
Oh, 12. Yeah. If you land on 12 points, so if it's 12 points, it's I win, is it?
Draw. No,
draw.
Jesus, no, it's a draw. Draw. I have to get 13. You have to get 11.
All right, fair enough.
Not that we condone anything either. Any.
Yeah. We're not promoting gambling here, obviously.
Yeah. So, Enda, I'd say we'll leave her there, and we'll come back Sunday evening, and we'll go at it again, and we'll see where we are, who the final 4 is, if that's good with you.
One of us is going to be definitely sore after the predictions now tonight.
Go on.
Good talk to you.
Thank you.
Cheers.